Hey guys, this is Dotster77 from the forums. My name is Johnny Truesdell. I'm from New York State. Not New York City, New York State. I'm 6 hours away from the city. I live in the Thousand Islands region of New York State. We have about 1,800 islands. The beautiful St. Lawrence River. I live in a resort town. There's plenty for me to film on a regular basis. What I want to tell you about is the flight that I just had, which was kind of crazy. I went 1.6 miles from my origin, 3.6 miles total. But I want to tell you about Flytrex. Flytrex is actually a data logger that sits on your Phantom or any multi-rotor with NASA, and it logs your flight. All right. So then when you get home, you upload your Flytrex data to the Flytrex website, and it'll tell you, your distance, your altitude, your max ascent, your speed, whatever, and keep track of it, and show you a nice little map on Google and whatnot. Now it'll give you little badges, like, oh, you just went over 30 miles, you just went over 40 miles per hour, you just did this, you just did that. So it's kind of cool, and it'll show you people from all over the world that are part of the network, what they're flying, what they're doing, records they've achieved, records they've broken, whatnot. Now you can see that since I've been in the Flytrex network, I've hit 60 miles per hour. That was in kind of like a little bit of a storm. I kind of cheated, but whatever. I still had to control the aircraft. And as of tonight, my max distance from origin is 1.6 miles, which is pretty crazy. So let's go to this mission, which is right here. You can see the total mission is according to the data logger was 47 minutes, and that's not accurate. I'll kind of go over that in a bit here. But we traveled 3.7 miles. Our max distance was 1.6 miles. Average speed 4.6 miles per hour. Max speed, we almost hit 50 miles per hour. My max ascent was 774, and my max altitude was 1,088. Now my starting out altitude here in Alexandria Bay, New York, is about 350 feet. All right, so let's go down to our map. And I've already got this in satellite mode. Right here, this is our public golf course. This is my origin, where I started on hole 9. Now that's kind of up on a hill. This is Alexandria Bay, where I live, and the blue is actually my flight pattern. So I went this way. What we're doing tonight is I carved out the battery compartment of my Phantom, so that can hold more than one battery. And I just got a couple of Mad Dog 2700 MHA milliamp batteries. So we're going to kind of go for a long flight time record, or just to see what these two batteries will do, whatever. I also thought on this night that I would go for my distance record, which I got, but this flight didn't exactly go as planned, and I'm going to tell you what happened. I've been flying my Phantom for a long time. I'm very confident in my abilities. I understand course lock and home lock mode, and bring it home mode. And I've had some battles at night, and I've always wrestled at home, line of sight, always flying line of sight, and I've always done well. So I'm very confident in my abilities. So I start here. I start flying southwest, and I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to give it full forward throttle for 2 minutes, right? And then I'll just pull it back, because I know this is going to be at least a 15-minute flight. And, I'm getting confident. I don't know if it's cocky or whatever. I wasn't nervous about doing this until I got about here, which is well over a mile away. So once I got here, 2 minutes is up, I started pulling the throttle back. But the thing was, it really didn't seem like it was coming back to me, right? And so I tried that for a while. I just put a really red bright light on the front of the Phantom, so I figured, I'll keep turning the yaw until I see the bright light, and then I'll know how to bring it back too. And that wasn't working either. And during this whole time period, I'm kind of, going from this point up here. I'm going to the St. Lawrence River, and I'm above the St. Lawrence River for quite a while. And my altitude was a lot higher than I thought too. And that was completely by accident. I really, I just see a little speck in the sky. I'm in trouble. So I'm turning this thing until I see the red light, and I'm giving it forward throttle, and it's just not really coming back. So I put it in home lock, and I pulled down on the right throttle stick for quite a while, and it's not really coming back. And starting to get a little nervous. We're getting around the, the 10-minute mark. So I guess I must have been right here. And that's when I didn't want to do it because I don't do this. I flipped the switch to bring it home, right? And I'm sitting there, you know, I'm up here at hole 9, and I'm just waiting. And I don't know, it's hard to tell the distance. You got a little light in the sky. I think it's coming back to me, but I'm not exactly sure. And after a while, it doesn't seem like anything's happening. Man, I can still see it. There was times when it seemed like it got closer. I don't know. So I'm here. It's about 14 minutes. It looks like it's right about over here. You know, somewhere near the hospital. I decide that I need to jump. I'm right here. I need to jump in my Cherokee and drive over here as fast as possible and try to get under it and reclaim control of the Phantom. So I leave a couple batteries on the green. I jump in my car and off I go from here to here about as fast as I can. And I end up pulling in a Marina parking lot, which is right about here. It's hard for me to... Right here, okay? So I park in my buddy's parking lot of his marina, and when I look above me, I can see the Phantom, and it's right above this little bit of water, right inside here, right? So as I get out of my Cherokee, I can see the Phantom in my sunroof. So I jump out, and I figure I'm going to look up in the air, and I'm just going to get out of go-home mode, and I'm going to take control of the Phantom and land it. Well, as soon as I get out of my Cherokee, I look up in the air, and I don't see the Phantom anymore. It's friggin' gone. I'm looking, it's gone. I don't see it. So, what I did at this point was I looked down at my controller, and I accidentally hit my throttle all the way down. And I'm like, oh, great. I put the throttle all the way down, the thing died, and went poop right in the water. So I spent about 30 minutes down here by these docks, and I'm just looking for the Phantom, you know, and I'm just driving around and walking around all this whole area, and I'm pretty sure it's in this water right in the middle. And after a while, I just give up. It's gone. This sucks. You know, whatever. I wasn't really as bummed as you might think I would be. I mean, because, you know, my gimbal wasn't on it, my GoPro wasn't on it, my FPV wasn't on it, my OSD wasn't on it. You know, none of that stuff was on it. It was just, you know, some new motors I put on it, a lot of my time, those 2 brand new batteries. It just sucked. So I go home, right? So I live, like, over here. I go home, and I get in the house, and I got thinking, I left those 2 batteries back at the hole. So I go back to the golf course, and what do you know? I see red lights on hole 9. And I'm like, no way. So I walk up to it, and it was just like, it wasn't even real. There's the Phantom sitting on hole 9, about 3 feet from the 2 batteries I left on the hole. It flew back home. Holy crud. So I'm going to show you the video from that. And I know this was a little bit long-winded, but it's just a crazy story. I can't believe the stupid thing flew home. I can't believe I didn't lose it. I guess the nice thing about it is I broke some records. Looking at this, when you see this 47-minute flight time right here, this is actually, you know, we really only flew from like this time period to this time period, and I figured that out. It's about 17.9 minutes. Now, when I landed, I had about 12% left on the battery, 3.7 volts per cell. So we probably could have flew another minute or 2 on those batteries. So we could have easily got 20 minutes on those Mad Dog batteries. So I'm Johnny Truesdell. That's my story. I'm going to show you the video I took at the golf course. So guys, I just drove back up to the golf course because I left a couple batteries on the green. And when I pulled into the golf course, which is up on the hill, I see this flashing light on the green, and I'm like, no fucking way. Well, there it fucking is. I can't believe it. It friggin' got itself back here and landed. It's sideways, but it didn't fall over. It's not damaged at all, and it landed itself. I bet. I don't even know what to think. I can't believe it.
I thought this thing was in the drink. I thought it landed on somebody's house. I thought it was done. Now, I was logging the whole thing with a Flytrex data logger, so we're going to be able to see its whole GPS route. And this thing flew for a long time. I mean, it was in the air like 16, 17 minutes probably. I can't believe it came back, because when I got down to where I thought it was, I could see it in the air. By the time I got out of my truck, I couldn't see it anymore. And I thought it's because I hit down on the controller. And it was still in go home mode, and it actually got itself home. I cannot believe it. I mean, people talk about flyaways. This was really kind of like my fault, but the fact that it got back, it's like a flyaway miracle. I don't know. That's all I got to say.
So, you know, I took a huge risk. This really wasn't a very responsible thing to do, to say the least. You know, I flew over some roads, I flew over some houses. I don't think anybody really wants a piece of plastic to fall out of the sky on their car or on them or whatever. But I'm really lucky that I got the thing back, and I'm not going to do this again. This was a pretty sketchy little flight. I really don't understand how I got such a perfect triangle. That part kind of baffles me, especially, like, you know, the distance from here to here. How on earth do I end up with a fairly straight line there and there? You know, here to here makes sense. From here to here makes sense, it's straight. But why is this line so straight? It's almost like I drew my own little Bermuda Triangle. And I just want to say that I wouldn't call this a flyaway situation with the Phantom. I obviously had control over the thing the whole time. I don't know why home lock wasn't really bringing it directly back. I don't know if that was a compass problem. I mean, I did the compass dance. I did some checks before I took off. I got good GPS lock. I mean, home lock was still smart enough to bring the thing home. I don't know exactly what happened. I just know that it's crazy.